My name is Jennifer Carr. I'm an author, marriage and family counselor, and a former high school AP psychology teacher. And I am here to help you use psychology to create more realistic and relatable characters. Because as an author, creating relatable and realistic characters is key to engaging readers and making your story memorable. Sometimes, as authors, we need tools in our resource kits to help make this happen. One tool that can be helpful in developing characters is the Myers Briggs Type Indicator. It's a personality assessment that categorizes individuals into one of 16 personality types. By using the MBTI to develop characters, you can create more three-dimensional, authentic, and relatable characters that readers can connect with on a deeper level. Today, we will explore how you can use the MBTI personality assessment to create a relatable and realistic character. I'm going to provide examples of how an INTJ and an ESFP character can be developed using this assessment. Now, before we dive into the MBTI and how it can be used, let me briefly explore with you what the MBTI is and how it works. The MBTI is a personality assessment developed by Isabel Briggs Myers and her mother, Catherine Cook Briggs, based on the work of psychologist Carl Jung. The assessment categorizes individuals into one of 16 personality types based on four dichotomies: extroversion and introversion, sensing and intuition, thinking and feeling, and judging and perceiving. Each dichotomy describes a preference that an individual has when it comes to how they perceive the world and make decisions. For example, someone who scores high in the extroversion dichotomy prefers to focus on the outer world of people and things, while someone who scores high in the introversion dichotomy prefers to focus on the inner world of ideas and concepts. The MBTI is a popular tool in fields such as psychology, career counseling, and personal development, but it can also be a useful tool for authors looking to create characters that are unique, believable, and relatable. Now that we kind of understand what the MBTI is, let's explore how you as an author can use this assessment to create characters. Here are some steps that I suggest you follow. The first step in using the MBTI to create a character is to take the assessment for your character, as your character. This will give you insight into their personality type and preferences. You can take the assessment as if you were your character, or you can use your knowledge of your character to answer the questions as you think they would. Once you have determined your character's personality type, research the characteristics associated with that type. You can find this information in books, online resources, or just by talking to individuals who identify with that personality type. Using the information you have gathered about your character's personality type, develop their strengths and weaknesses. For example, if your character is an INTJ, that means they're introverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging. They may have strengths such as being analytical, strategic, and independent, but their weaknesses might be something like being a perfectionist, being overly critical, and having difficulty expressing emotions. As you develop your character, consider how their personality type affects their behavior, their attitudes, and their actions. For example, an INTJ character may be more reserved and introspective, while an ESFP, extroverted, sensing, feeling, and perceiving character, may be more outgoing and spontaneous. Finally, consider how the MBTI can be used to create conflicts and relationships between characters. For example, an INTJ character may clash with an ESFP character due to their different personalities and preferences. Or they may be attracted to one another because each person's strength is the other person's weakness, and those two things tend to complement one another. Now, let's talk about creating a character who is considered an INTJ according to the MBTI. Now, there are different combinations of these letters. You can be any of the four based on your personality, right? I chose the two all opposite end spectrums for my examples. So stay with me here. INTJ stands for introversion, intuition, thinking, and judging. The INTJ personality type is known as the architect or the mastermind and is characterized by a strategic and analytical approach to life. Individuals with this personality type are often highly independent, they're goal-oriented, and they're logical. So when you're creating an INTJ character, think about those things. They're known for analytical and strategic thinking. Their preference for logic over emotion is paramount, and their tendency to plan and strategize for the future is a key component of their personality. They are problem solvers who enjoy thinking deeply about complex issues and finding creative solutions. They're also highly organized and efficient with a strong ability to plan and execute their goals. No character is perfect, and INTJs are no exception. They can be overly critical, they are perfectionistic, and they have difficulty expressing emotions. They can also be seen as cold or aloof due to their preference for logic over emotion. An INTJ character may be highly introspective and reserved, preferring to spend time alone to think and reflect. They may be skeptical of others' opinions and prefer to rely on their own intuition and logic. They may also be highly focused on achieving their goals and may struggle with balancing their work and personal life. In a platonic relationship, an INTJ might approach it in a logical and pragmatic way, seeking a friend who shares their interests and their values rather than one who simply provides emotional support. And they might not be as expressive with their emotions as some other personality types, but they are deeply loyal to those they consider friends, often challenging their friends to think more critically and see beyond the surface level. INTJs enjoy discussing ideas, theories, and intellectual pursuits with their friends and appreciate having someone who can engage with them on an intellectual level. Someone with an INTJ personality can sometimes come across as overly critical or blunt, as they are often more focused on finding solutions to problems than on providing emotional support. However, once they develop deep friendships, they can be fiercely protective and supportive of their friends, offering practical advice and guidance when needed. Overall, in a platonic relationship, an INTJ values honesty, loyalty, and intellectual compatibility, and is often willing to invest a lot of time and effort into building a strong, meaningful friendship with someone who shares their interests and values. Because they're deeply loyal, INTJs are deeply committed and loyal to their significant others in romantic relationships. They're often very honest and direct in their communication, and they expect the same level of honesty and directness in return. They appreciate partners who can challenge them intellectually and are who are not afraid to engage in debates or discussions. INTJs may struggle with expressing their emotions, but they often show their love and affection through acts of service or by providing practical solutions to problems their partners may be facing. They're typically not interested in engaging in small talk or social events that don't align with their interests, but they will make an effort to spend quality time with their significant other, engaging in activities that they both enjoy. In romantic relationships, INTJs may sometimes struggle with being overly critical or blunt, as they can be very focused on finding solutions to problems and improving things. However, they're often willing to work on their communication and emotional expression for the sake of their relationship. So, can you see how knowing all of these traits about your character, whether they're an INTJ or an ISFJ or an ISFP or any of the combination of these four letters, can you see how much more detailed your character will be when you start putting them on paper? If you know all of these things in advance, it will help you when they are developing relationships, when they are developing their career paths, whatever your character may be facing. Knowing their MBTI personality type can be a huge help. So let's look at a character who is the polar opposite of an INTJ. That's going to be an ESFP. The ESFP personality type is known as the performer or the entertainer and is characterized by a spontaneous and outgoing approach to life. Individuals with this personality type are often highly social. They're energetic and enthusiastic. Here are some steps for developing an ESFP character. Since they are known for their spontaneity and their outgoing nature and love of socializing, also know that they are often highly energetic and enthusiastic with a natural ability to charm and connect with others. And being highly sociable, energetic, and enthusiastic means that they are natural performers and they enjoy being the center of attention. They're also highly empathetic and are able to connect with others on a deep level. ESFPs, however, can be impulsive, easily bored, and may struggle with long term planning. They can also be seen as shallow or self centered due to their love of attention and excitement. An ESFP character may be highly spontaneous and enjoy taking risks. They may be highly social and enjoy being around others, but they may struggle with being alone for extended periods of time. They may also be highly sensitive to the emotions of others and may struggle with setting boundaries for themselves. In a platonic relationship, an ESFP is likely to be the life of the party, always looking for ways to have fun and make others feel good. ESFPs are great at making friends and are often the social glue that keeps groups of friends together. They have a contagious energy and enthusiasm that can inspire those around them to try new things and have fun. They're also very empathetic and can easily read the emotions of others, which allows them to provide support and comfort when needed. Also, in platonic relationships, ESFPs are likely to be very generous and giving, always looking for ways to make their friends feel valued and appreciated. They are great at building connections with people and enjoy spending time with friends, doing fun activities, or exploring new places. ESFPs can sometimes struggle with being overly impulsive or shallow in their relationships, as they can become very easily distracted by new experiences or people. However, they're often quick to apologize and make amends if they feel they have hurt their friends' feelings. As for the ESFP personality type in romantic relationships, they aren't typically keen on slowly building foundations for the future or planning out a life. They are bubbling, unpredictable. Things are there to be enjoyed for as long as there's enjoyment to be had. A lot of times, ESFPs have no problem seriously considering breaking things off when the enjoyment and fun is gone. While they can be willing to work on their relationships rather than swap them out, it takes a great deal of maturity and experience for them to realize that it can be worth the bother. While the MBTI can be a useful tool for character development, it is important to avoid relying on stereotypes or generalizations. Each individual is unique, and while their personality type may influence their behavior and attitudes, it's not the only factor to consider. So take the time to research and understand the nuances of each personality type and use this information to create a character that is complex and multidimensional. One of the most effective ways to use the MBTI is to create conflicts and relationships between characters. So, by pairing characters with opposing personality types, you can create tension and conflict that adds depth to the story. Alternatively, by pairing characters with complementary personality types, authors can create strong bonds and relationships that add warmth and depth to the story. While the MBTI can provide a framework for understanding a character's personality, it's important to consider the character's background and experiences when developing their character. Childhood experiences, trauma, and life events can all shape a character's personality and behavior and should be taken into account when creating a character that's both relatable and realistic. Another way to use the MBTI to create a relatable and realistic character is to use it to create character arcs. By understanding the strengths and weaknesses associated with each personality type, authors can create a character that grows and changes over the course of the story. For example, an INTJ character may start off as cold and aloof, but through the course of the story, learn to connect with others on a deeper level. Finally, when using the MBTI to create a character, it's important to consider their goals and motivations. Each personality type has its own set of values and beliefs, and these can influence a character's goals and motivations. For example, an ENFJ character may be motivated by a desire to help others, while an ESFP character may be motivated by a desire for adventure and new experiences. Here's an example of developing an ESFP character. Now let's take a closer look. All right. His name is Michael, the character that we're creating. In his background, Michael grew up in a large and loving family where creativity and self expression were highly valued. He was encouraged to pursue his passions and to live life to the fullest. His personality is an ESFP. And as an ESFP, Michael is outgoing and energetic with a natural talent for entertaining and inspiring others. He's a natural performer and enjoys being the center of attention. He's highly social and enjoys spending time with others. Some of his strengths: he's highly creative and spontaneous with a knack for coming up with new and innovative ideas. He's able to adapt to new situations quickly. He's not afraid to take risks. He's also highly empathetic and has a natural ability to connect with others on an emotional level. Some of his weaknesses: Michael's focus on living in the moment sometimes leads him to overlook the long term consequences of his actions. So he may struggle with planning and organization and may sometimes struggle with follow through on his goals. Additionally, his need for social interaction and attention can sometimes cause him to be easily distracted or prioritize his social life over other responsibilities. So, his character arc: over the course of the story, Michael learns to balance his desire for fun and excitement with his responsibilities and obligations. He begins to develop more long term goals and plans and learns to follow through on his commitments, whatever those may be. Through his interactions with other characters, he learns to become a more responsible and reliable friend and partner. You could fill in all of the details about those relationships and use his personality development and his personality type to make him a more relatable and realistic character. I mean, chances are we probably all have someone come to mind when we think of someone like Michael. So, using the MBTI personality assessment can be a valuable tool for authors looking to create relatable and realistic characters. By understanding strengths and weaknesses associated with each personality type, as an author, you can create characters that are complex and multidimensional. Additionally, don't forget, this assessment can be used to create conflicts and relationships between characters, to develop character arcs, and to understand your character's motivations and goals. However, it is important to avoid relying too heavily on stereotypes or generalizations when using the MBTI. Each individual is unique, and while their personality type may influence their behavior and attitudes, it's not the only factor to consider when creating a character. Additionally, it's important to consider a character's background, experiences, and motivations when developing their personality and behavior. Overall, by using the MBTI in combination with other tools and techniques for character development, as an author, you can create characters that are relatable, realistic, and memorable. If you found this lesson helpful or have questions, please let me know by leaving a comment. And you want to learn more about using psychology to become a better writer? Be sure to subscribe.